Hi everyone, welcome, and a huge thanks for tuning in to today's webinar. Um, we're about to dive into something fascinating and super relevant, digital eco-design. It's a topic as we all start to think more about the digital impact on the planet. Uh, we're Wedia, and we're all about digital asset management, and well, guess what? We are right at the cutting edge of tackling the environmental side of digital storage and processing. It's a big deal for us, especially as we handle tons, terabytes of data for our clients, including all sorts of images and videos. So today, I'm going to walk you through some awesome eco-design strategy that can change the way your organization deals with digital assets. Our aim is not just about reducing our environmental footprint, it's also about making our client digital storage more efficient and effective. So let's start this journey and let's explore how eco-design can revolutionize our approach to digital asset management and turn it into win-win for both organizations and the environment. So my name is Olivier Grenet. I'm the CTO and co-founder of Wedia. And at Wedia, we are not just passionate about providing top-tier digital asset management solution. We're committed to innovating responsibly. We channel significant resources into R&D and to ensure that our software not only leads the market in functionality, but also in sustainability. So here's the thing about eco-design at Wedia. It's not just a one-person show. It's something we all dive into together. Every single person on our team plays a part, and we believe that creating a sustainable digital world is a team effort, and every little bit helps. So that's a little bit about us and our commitment to not just doing well, but also doing good. As I'm presenting here a list of some of our clients, it's important to recognize the scale at which our solution operates. Wedia focuses on serving large corporations, many of whom manage hundreds of thousands of digital assets. So in the realm of digital marketing, this number is not static. It grows exponentially each month. Our software plays a pivotal role in distributing these assets across e-commerce platforms that receive millions of connections daily. This translates into billions of image views every month, and that's a staggering figure that inevitably contributes to the digital carbon footprint. That significant impact drives our commitment to eco-design. By optimizing how digital assets are stored, processed, and delivered, we aim to reduce this footprint, deliver performance that is only powerful, but also environmentally conscious. So today, I will detail how our DAM software not only supports the demanding need of large-scale digital marketing, but that so with a keen eye on sustainability. And on a positive note, we're seeing that these large corporations are not just acknowledging the need for eco-design, but they are also actively embracing it. A prime example of this shift is our client Michelin approaches the product design. Michelin has set a new benchmark with the eco-conception charter and the revolutionary vision concept. And this isn't just a tire. It's a glimpse into the future of mobility. It's a fusion of a wheel and an LS tire, constructed from biosourced material and designed to be connected and replenishable. So Michelin initiative is a powerful illustration of how sustainability and digital technology intersect. It's this kind of vision we aspire to empower through our DAM solution, enabling corporations to manage digital assets in ways that are not only effective, but also conscious. So as we move forward, let's take a moment to reflect on the foundation of our mission at Wedia. We are a dedicated team of 150 professionals, each one committed to delivering an exceptional customer experience and boosting sales through our innovative solution. Our reach is global with 6,600 customers in 120 countries, managing billions of assets that span every continent. But beyond these numbers is our ethos that is encapsulated in our recent published ESG charter. This charter isn't just a document. It compels us to consider the carbon-intensive resources we rely on, like data centers, and pushes us to find better and more efficient ways to use them. And our commitment to this vision was recently showcased at the ONDAM conference. We had the privilege of sharing our sustainability commitments, not just with our customers, but with the wider digital asset management community. So, eco-design for the digital world. All right, now let's zoom in into what we really are here to do today, eco-design in the digital world and how it plays into SaaS solution like the one we offer. When we're talking about making our digital world more sustainable, eco-design isn't just more a fancy extra feature. It's really at the core of everything we do in software development. It's about looking at the big picture and considering every single step to the initial idea, to the way it operates in data center, and even further. So, eco-design SaaS is about making conscious choices that align with our environmental values without compromising on the robustness and quality of our plans. And let's take a moment to consider the hidden costs associated with digital world. It's quite easy to overlook the environmental footprint of the software because its physical presence is so minimal. However, the hardware that enable our digital experience tells a different story. So this slide presents some interesting data from Eric Williams. To manufacture a car, we use 54 times its weight in raw material. And for a smartphone, that figure lives to 500 times its weight. And for a microprocessor, that is at the heartbeat of every digital operation, the number is a staggering 16,000 times. These numbers are significant because they reflect the resource intensity of seemingly small components. And microprocessor might be tiny, but they're really resource hungry. And in data center around the globe, millions of them are running nonstop. This is why eco-design is crucial in software development. It's not just about the energy used to run the software or the efficiency of the code. It's about understanding and mitigating the environmental impact of physical components and our digital ecosystem rely on. So, what's the first step we're talking? It's about getting a clear picture of our carbon footprint. We really need to know not just how big it is, but also what makes it up. We're asking questions like, what's contributing the most to it? Where is the biggest impact happening? And to find these answers, we've got some really cool tools at disposal. These tools are like detective for digital operations. They help us peel back the layers to see exactly what data and processes are gobbling up the most carbon. Once we know this, we can see the zoom into design work, focusing on areas where we can make the biggest environmental difference. Being in the business of cloud-based SaaS solution, we've got a special duty to really get a handle our environmental impact. So how did we start tackling this? Well, first up, we use this neat open source tool, Cloud Carbon Footprint. What's cool about this software is that it hooks up right to our cloud infrastructure. It keeps track on how much resources we're using in all parts of operations. And the level of detail it gives us is pretty incredible. It allows us to really dig deep, analyze things closely. And sometimes the insights where we get our AI opening. And just let me show you something. Here you can see the results of the analysis that is displayed both in metric ton of CO2 and actual cost. And that's interesting because you can see here the list of all resources that are consuming this metric ton of CO2. We can see the evolution of the consumption of CO2 along the time, and we can even convert them into some meaningful dashboards. And we can even assess the impact on the map where we can see if the electricity that's been produced is green or not, and thus assessing how we perform in global data centers. You can play it yourself by typing demo.cloudcarbonfootprint.org. It has a self-contained file. There's a small, a quick show of this tool into action. It's really a deep dive and exploration tool and giving you the big picture of your CO2 consumption and then breaking it down into multiple data, and you can even relate it to trees, phones, and flight consumption to get a real understanding on how it's consuming. And then resource per resource, we can really see what is consuming the most of CO2, and as I was telling you earlier, see which data center is producing the most carbonated energy. What's interesting also is you can dive to recommendations. Recommendations is an analysis of what you can stop, the resources you can downsize to or just delete to save some energy because they are not used or they are not sized properly. This is one methodology, and another one of the methodology I would like to highlight today is pioneered by Etsy, and it's called Cloud G-Walls. And you know, Etsy journey started with a clear goal. They wanted to reduce their energy intensity by 25% within 3 years. So, however, as they were facing the same hurdles that we are, that cloud providers typically do not disclose the energy consumption of their services to customers, even if they have been moving in the right direction recently on that topic. So, to bridge this information gap, Etsy developed Cloud Jewels, a set of conversion factors that allows them to convert cloud usage data into approximate energy use. While these tools give rough estimates, it's a significant step towards understanding and managing cloud-based energy use. By applying these conversion factors to virtual CPU seconds, memory usage, storage, and network traffic, organization can get a sense of the energy usage and observe related change over time. So once we've got a clear picture of our digital carbon footprint, the next thing to do is, of course, take action. And a great place to start is with the easy wins. Those no-brainers improvements that are simple to implement, but can really make a difference. When it comes to our server and data center, it's all about using our hardware wisely. For example, just turning off servers that we're not using and can have a big impact. Every server we power down means less energy waste. And also making sure that our server capacity is used efficiently. And that's the key. We don't want servers running full blast when there's hardly any demand. That's just a waste of energy. Then there is data storage. Our approach here is two parts. First, we get rid of old, useless data. It's not just about clearing space, it's about not wasting energy, storing stuff nobody wants. Second, for data we don't use often, we switch to cold storage. The cold storage is a way to storing data that is much more energy efficient and still keeps the data accessible when we need it. So that might sound like small steps, but they're actually huge in the world of eco-design for digital infrastructure. By nailing this simple goal first, we make immediate progress and set the stage for tackling more complex systems. So, with the initial steps underway, it's really time to deepen our commitment. Turning to eco-design isn't just about making a series of one-off changes. It's about adopting a comprehensive methodology that really permeates every stage of the digital asset management software design process. So, eco-design at Wedia has to be part of our DNA. It needs to be a core element on how we develop things right from the start. It's not something we can just slap on as an afterthought or just sprinkle on top of what we've already built. We really talking about a whole approach here, one that takes into account the environmental impact at every stage, starting from the very first design ideas to all the way to the last bit of code we write. So this approach, it requires to really rethink our practices from the algorithm we write, to the server we use, to the way we process data. Every decision must be made with sustainability in mind, whether with choosing how to store data more efficiently or how we determine the most eco-friendly way to deliver content. Really, each choice has to contribute to. Let's define a little bit eco-design. So, eco-design, it's really a proactive and thoughtful approach. It's embedding environmental consideration in every stage of the product and service development. It's not merely a strategy, it's more like a philosophy. Uh, Eco-design is an integrated approach that aims to minimize the environmental impact of a product or service right from the design phase. The principles of eco-design are centered around sobriety and efficiency. Sobriety at the design stage. That means being judicious with our resource and choosing only what is necessary. It involves asking ourselves whether every feature, every line of code, and every resource allocated is essential to the functionality and sustainability of the final product. And there is also sobriety through operation. Once our products are in use, the principle of sobriety continues to guide us. We aim from reduced consumption of equipment and energy, optimizing how data is stored and accessed. It's about creating systems that are not just powerful, but also prudent on their ongoing energy use. So when we talk about an holistic approach to eco-design, it's really crucial to understand the journey of an asset through the entire digital ecosystem. Let's consider the life cycle of an image managed within DAM system to illustrate this. Storage on the left. Initially, the image is stored. Here, eco-design considers the type of storage used, preferring, for example, energy-efficient solutions like SSDs over traditional HDDs, and the use of cold storage for rarely accessed data. Servers. The image is then managed by application servers. These servers, they implement business rules. And here, eco-design means ensuring server utilization is optimized, running at full capacity. Then the image travels across the network, and eco-design focuses on reducing data transfer loads and using energy efficiently network equipment. Once the images reach the user workstation, eco-design can dictate the format and resolution used, balancing quality with file size to minimize the data processed by the user's device. And browser. Before an image is displayed in the browser, eco-design ensures that only necessary images are loaded and that they are in formats that require less computational power to render. And you know that some browsers are more capable than others, and we need to deliver the best compression according to the browser version. And finally, when the image is delivered to various platforms such as e-commerce websites, corporate websites, social networks, eco-design can play a role in content delivery network selection and caching strategy to reduce repetitive. Here, we see the transformation of a digital asset from its original raw form into an optimized version ready for user consumption, a process central to eco-design in digital media delivery. On the left, we start with a high-definition image that will be stored into the. It could be a JPEG, a PSD file, or even a raw photography, and often very large in size, in this case, 8 megabytes. While this quality is necessary for certain applications, it's not always required for every end-user interaction, particularly on the web. Through Wedia's media delivery system, this original image undergoes a critical metamorphosis. It's not just about reducing the file size, it's about smartly adapting the asset for intended use. We resize the image to the exact dimensions needed for the user device, and we ensure that no pixel is wasted. We also apply advanced compression techniques. So we select the most efficient format supported by the user browser, whether it's WebP, AVF, or another format. The goal is to maintain visual quality while significantly reducing the file size. In this instance, into a sleek 800 kilobytes. So that intelligent optimization minimizes the load on networks. It also reduces storage requirements and it ensures quick loading time. So thereby reducing the energy consumed during the asset delivery and viewing. So that exemplifies eco-design action. Thoughtful, user-centric, and environmentally responsible. As we work toward being more sustainable, it's super important to walk the talk. We've got to make sure that we're not just throwing around being environmental promises with backing them up. It's all about being real and avoiding greenwashing. You know, make it sound like our product or services are greener than they actually are. So here's how we're making sure we stay true to our word. First, eco-design isn't selective. It's a comprehensive life cycle consideration. It demands we consider every stage of a product life. From inception to decommission, every phase should be optimized for minimal environmental impact. Environmental impact forefront, where the core of eco-design lies into its name, eco for ecology. So we must ensure that environmental considerations are not just a checkbox, but a driving force in our design philosophy, hence our ESG charter. And wellness of service. And finally, eco-design isn't partial. It doesn't end with a product. It extends to the entire digital service, including how it's hosted, delivered, and in our mission to embrace a sustainable way of managing digital assets, it's super important to have a solid plan to get us. That's where we are having government-based backed method really comes in handy. And governments around the world, often in partnership with non-profit organizations and industry experts, are increasingly aware of the environmental impact of digital services. And in response, they are developing frameworks and methodology to help business like ours not only comply with the regulation, but also to innovate responsibly. So by aligning with these government-backed approaches, we at Wedia commit to transparency and accountability, and of course, continuous. In France, for example, the commitment to a sustainable digital future is underpinned by a series of recent legislative frameworks. These not only legislate for accessibility and data protection, but now also for the eco-design of digital service. So, you know, RGAA, this standard ensures that digital services are accessible to all citizens, including those with disabilities, and so making inclusivity a legal requirement. Of course, the well-recognized GDPR being the border of France GDPR enforces the secure and private handling of personal data. And the latest addition to this suite of frameworks is RGESN. ESN, it's a legislative framework specifically dedicated to the eco-design and of digital services. So it provides guidelines for creating digital products that are environmentally friendly for all life cycle. The getting into eco-design is all about constantly getting better and adapting. A big part of this process is figuring out exactly where we stand. That's where something like this RG ESN compliance score really helps out. It gives us 79 different ways to check how well our services are lined up with eco-design principles. So to calculate our compliance score, we use a straightforward formula displayed here, and that score gives us a clear baseline for our current eco-design performance. It's a quantitative measures that help us to identify areas where we're excelling and crucially where we can improve. And by tracking this score over time, we can measure the effectiveness of our eco-design initiative, ensuring that we are making progress and not remaining static. For example, these are the results of the first eco-design compliance score we got at Wedia, and that was the base for improvements. And if these 79 criteria are an excellent starting point for companies embarking on the eco-design journey, this is just the beginning. And when you're ready to deepen your commitments, you've got the GR491, the reference guide for eco-design for digital services, that provides a much more extensive framework. So it's a very big set of guidelines. We're talking about more than 500 different criteria here, where we're extracting the 79 criteria we were looking just before. So they are grouped into 8 different categories, and each one is really packed with a lot of recommendations. And it's really a detailed guide that really dips into eco-design. It gives organization clear steps on how to make every part of the digital service better. What's cool is that it doesn't just look at the environment, it expands on how we can socially and also economically sustainable. So it's a wider look on the So 14.6 is part of the ISO 14,000 family of standards related to environmental management that help organizations to minimize how their operation negatively affects the environment and to comply with applicable law, regulations, and other environment-oriented requirements, and continually improves on this front. So this ISO focuses on guidelines for incorporating eco-design. So this is a standard that provides guidance on establishing, documenting, implementing, maintaining, and continually improving an eco-design approach as part of what is called an environment management system, EMS. So for us at Wedia, going after this certification is a big deal. It shows that we're really serious about weaving environmental factors into the design of our digital asset management software. As we dive into the practical application of eco-design, it's super helpful to look at some real-life examples. So let's take a peek on how our digital asset management system at Wedia really lives up to the eco-design areas. We'll show you the actual steps we've taken to bring supplements to missing with you. And first, I'd like to say that digital asset management systems aren't just here for keeping things organized and easy to find. They are inherently eco-responsible. They are natural allies to every eco-design strategy. They naturally significantly contribute to sustainability efforts. For example, they eliminate duplicates. They eliminate the need to copy-paste media. And a DAM system is really an essential tool for identifying and removing duplicate media assets. Because these redundancies, they often lead to unnecessary storage consumption and a lot of energy waste. So we make sure that each unique asset is stored only once as a single source of truth. And we optimize our storage needs, we reduce server load, and consequently, we lower our energy consumption. We are optimizing the compression of images and video because the DAM system is great at optimizing media for various platforms without compromising on quality. By employing advanced compression algorithm, the DAM system reduces the file size of images and video, and that ensures faster load times and less bandwidth usage. And ultimately, we measure effectiveness and relevance. That's something that's very often overlooked, but with the DAM, we can leverage analytics to understand how assets perform and how relevant they are to your audience. These are actionable insights that can help you to focus your effort on producing content that truly resonates and thus avoid the environmental cost of creating and storing ineffective media. Um, and let's look at some screen we designed at Wedia to show how we can recreate actionable actions to remove unnecessary data into a DAM. This is the Wedia DAM with the addition of an icon on the top right toolbar, which helps people to create actions to remove unnecessary data. So by clicking on this icon, you get to a dashboard, and in this dashboard, you've got your current score for sustainability score. I mean, you have actions to do. 55 is not that great. And you've got all your history there and your storage history. We're going to focus on what is more carbon intensive in the dam. That is the asset storage. And we've got three clear actions here to remove unused assets that are never being used actually, so as are stored for nothing and should be at least archived or maybe better, totally deleted and removed. Duplicate assets, sometimes some asset slips into the process of duplicate detection, or maybe we migrated another base with a lot of duplicate assets. We want to find them and remove them. And expired assets, it might be here for a reason because you don't have the rights anymore, but most of the time you will hardly reuse them. So it's a good idea to have a look and see if you can delete it or at least archive them. So let's look at the first entry, unused asset. The system is scanning your dam, your Wedia dam, and is listing all the assets that are never or haven't been accessed for some time. Here you've got the list of the assets with the weight, the storage weight of each asset. And that's interesting. You've got a lot of filters because we assume we really want to see which one are being used regarding to your current actions, marketing actions. So maybe you don't want to remove, for example, winter assets during summer because, of course, they haven't been accessed, but they are really relevant for the next season. And of course, you're going to select the one you want to remove, and the system will clean it for you and will save some carbon intensive storage in that process. We'll give you kudos for doing that. So we'll even translate them to Taylor Swift albums if you really want to be incentivized at that point. And that's interesting because when you get back to the dashboard, you can see your actions being measured by this new score. And what is more interesting is that you can signal to all DAM users with this banner that you did a great work and that you're taking care of your company's environmental engagement here. I just um, something we need to watch out about. It's called the rebound effect. This is what happens when we make things more efficient, but then up using more resources somewhere else. It's like taking one step forward and two steps back in on environmental effort. For example, let's dive into generative AI. It's really super cool for creating new images and stuff, right? But there is a catch. It needs a lot of server power and storage. So we've got to be careful, or else we'll end up increasing our carbon footprint using the Gen AI. What about these amazing 4K, 8K videos? They look incredible, but do we always need that kind of high resolution? Well, we need to think about it. For regular social media posts, maybe we don't need all that data and energy to be stored into the DAM. And for example, moving on to AR and VR content. So these technologies are totally redefining how we're experiencing. They are super exciting, but they also mean that we're using a lot more data and storage to handle them. So in conclusion, when we're adding this cool new technology to our digital asset management, we've got to keep an eye on the environmental impact. It's not just about jumping on the eco-design bandwagon. We need to think about the bigger picture, how each innovation affects our planet, and not just how awesome its features are. Thank you. I hope you've got a lot of questions.
Yeah, thanks, Olivier. So indeed, we have some questions. So we can to invest in eco-design or, in certain
Yeah.
eco-design in the first place?
Why did Wedia decided to invest in eco-design? I think it's related to our core ESG charters that reflects our human values that we define at Wedia all together. That really mean we want to operate by not hurting the planet and being really eco-conscious in everything we do. So this eco-design is just a part of this ESG engagement. And I think we're going to publish, we presented it at Ondam recently. I think we're going to publish it openly in the open quite soon.
Okay, great. Then another question. Does Wedia have an eco-conception charter? You already answered.
Yeah,
that.
we do.
So, yeah, we have, and you're gonna see this more often in the future, so stay tuned. Then we still have another question, which is, in addition to the technological solution in the dam, do you offer services that help clients to be more environmentally friendly or efficient with their dam?
Yeah, actually, it's not always technology that answers these questions. And for example, we've got librarians that help you go into your digital resources, help you to manage data quality and remove unnecessary assets, consolidate collections into something that is smaller but more relevant to your actions, your digital marketing actions. So yeah, people are involved. It's not just technologies, also this library team that is very helpful for that.
Okay. So we answered all the questions. So I would say this is a wrap. So thank you everyone who participated in this webinar. You're gonna hear very soon from us and have a nice evening.